There we go. Welcome, everyone, to Wantrepreneur Wednesday. So my name is Patricia Cimino. I'm a certified life coach, and I work with, mostly women. I do work with men too, but mostly women who are ready to step into the next chapter of themselves. And over the course of this last year, a lot of these women that I've been working with have ventured into entrepreneurship. And so I thought it would be fun to start a little mini series called Wantrepreneur Wednesday, because as I went through my contact list, I realized that like 80% of my contacts were women who were running their own businesses. So I've picked people that are at all different stages of their business, from the very beginning stages to the middle stages to the later part of stages. I've picked people who are interviewed people who are, direct sales, having a product to sell, having a service to sell. So all different avenues. And today I want to share with you someone who is a very dear friend of mine. I've known her a long time. And I have to say, Julie Brewer she's got that entrepreneurial spirit, because this is not her first rodeo. She's done this before. But I want her to share her story of how she started this very imaginative, creative, passionate business that she started. And as I posted in all of my Facebook posts, this is for all the dog lovers in the house. So if you're there, give me raise your hand or hit thumbs up on the comments. So I'd like to introduce Julie Brewer of Pupsicool. So Julie, welcome.
Hi, Patty.
Fun. I want you to share with my audience who you are and what your business is.
So I'm Julie Brewer, and I'm a very dear friend of Patty's, and so excited to be here joining her. Pupsicool is a venison bone broth ice pops for pups that keeps dogs and their humans cool and entertained.
That is so okay. Now explain how you even created this product, because your story is a good one.
This product found me, I would say, kind of an interesting, bizarre way it all came together. But I had lost a dog that I had a long time. She passed away. Rescued a dog from Austin Pets Alive. I happened to live near a deer processing store that's been there forever. It's kind of on the corner from me, and they sell bones for dogs. So on the way home from work one day, I was working as a career advisor at the University of Texas. I picked up a bone and brought it home, and it was so gross when I took it out of the package. I did not want to touch it. I plopped it in a pot to boil it a little bit, and the bone didn't last long. It started splintering, but I thought, I'm just going to take the leftover water in the pot, and I knew that my dog Bodie liked ice cubes, and I'm like, I'm just going to pop it in the freezer. Maybe it's got some flavor to it. She can enjoy it later, and pretty much forgot about it. Found it a couple weeks later, gave it to her, and she went nuts for it. She just went absolutely bonkers. And so I knew broth was low in calorie, and she was going through heartworm treatment where she had to be on a doggy bed rest for 30 days. And I thought, this will be really good for her to be able to enjoy. She can have a lot of them without getting fat, because we're not going to be getting out on walks and she can't exercise. And then started doing a little bit more research into dog nutrition, and really kind of out of an accident realized I had this really healthy, unique treat that I knew my dog loved. And so I was making them for her, bringing them with me when we went to coffee shops while I worked. And people would ask, what is that? Is that ice block? What is that? They didn't know what it was. I'm like, well, it's venison broth and it's got some jerky. I started putting jerky in it just to kind of keep her even more into it. And so many people said, that's so cool. Where can I get one? You make those, you should sell those. You should go on Shark Tank. And after enough people said it, I was like, well, maybe I should. Patty and I have talked before about a lot of times it's just that a lot of people have the ideas, but then taking the next step. So fast forward, that was in June of last year. And we're now in 24 stores here in Austin, and growing rapidly. And this is now my second week as a full-time entrepreneur, because I took the leap to leave a job that I really loved, to pursue this full time. I felt like it's kind of, let's see what's going to happen with this, and I've got to give it my full attention. So I'd say I'm in the very early to mid stages of bringing a product to into the stores, and happy to share any advice that I have to offer, but mostly excited to just connect and connect with other women or other people out there who are considering the same move or in the same position as I am.
Let me ask you this because I love to ask it. Like, every entrepreneur or anytime you have a goal, right? There's always a big why that's pushing you. So, what would make you want to leave your really awesome job that you had at UT and fun job to do this? Like, why?
That's a good question, but I would say what has motivated me most of all is seeing how people react, dogs and their owners react to this product. It's kind of like, it's just all around good. It's super healthy. It's like being able to give your kids broccoli and having them beg for more. And so just the idea of like, I want these out there for as many dogs to enjoy as possible, and know that it's not just not bad for them, but it's actually good for them. So that drives me a lot. And then people who kind of just joined along on my journey and are rooting for me and saying, this is so cool. I mean, you just got to keep doing this. So I'd say the enthusiasm from dogs and their owners, and also just the support that I've received from people who are cheering me on, saying, you can do this. And Patty, you're one of those people.
So, tell my audience, maybe what has been one of your biggest challenges? I mean, you're dealing with a product, so there's a big investment that goes into a product. I know from the bag business that I used to have, it's a big financial investment to pay for all the supplies and things that you need to create that product. Has been one of your biggest challenges so far?
I would say the first big hurdle that I encountered, and this is not my strength, is the administrative side to things, was the amount of hoops I had to jump through and permits that I had to get just to be able to sell the product. That was not a fun part. And probably the first place I wanted to just say, forget it. I don't want to do this anymore. So that was probably the first big hurdle that I came across. Also trying to just make things happen when you're working a full-time job as well, and finding that balance of, staying focused on what your main job is, but also moving things forward. Those are the two biggest ones I would say that I've faced up to date, and there are more on the horizon, but that's pretty much the first big obstacles that I had to overcome.
Well, I think, I know that when you have that why that we just talked about and you just gave, it gives you something to cling on to during those moments of those big challenges. So like right now, like what was your mindset to not just throw the towel in when you hit those challenges? What were you thinking about? What were you believing in your mind about this whole thing?
Well, I think all around just having faith that things happen for a reason. This venture, I'll call it, this journey, wasn't something that I necessarily set out to do. I felt from the beginning like I could have never in a million years imagined that I would have a dog popsicle company. I mean, that's so random. I couldn't have dreamed that up. So always having the feeling or needing to remind myself that, this is coming together the way it is for a reason, as maybe part of some bigger plan. So that on a big level, but on a very practical level, I would say, riding that roller coaster of ups and downs, it seems that the second I get to I just can't do this anymore, I connect with a person or I find something that just gets me over the hump. I remember when I finally got the product up and out to sell in the stores, and I sent heartfelt emails to all of these business owners, like, of course, expecting them all to write me right back and say, how can I order and where do I get them? And it was crickets. It was literally crickets for weeks. And I thought my email's broken. Like, this is just never going to happen. And when I was at that point of just kind of like, all right, I'm just spinning my wheels, wasting my time, it was almost right, literally almost at that moment, I got a response from my first store that said, hey, I'd like to hear more about this. Let's talk. And so just knowing that if you hang on a little bit longer now, inevitably it seems that whatever it is that you need to get you over that hump appears then.
Yeah, it always seems like when you're in alignment, head to heart, it feels like the universe just opens the door for you and people and things come into your way that you never probably could have imagined before. But I think it's being in that alignment that's so important, right?
Yeah.
So, what's the one thing you absolutely love about being an entrepreneur?
I love the greatest joy that I have, and I've worked, my employees are up to this point interns from UT. And so as part of
so far, how many do you have so far?
So they've come and gone as they've done their internships, but I've got about 4 students right now working with me.
Cool.
And so the fun part for me is kind of like we're all together in this kind of real sandbox. It's something real, but it's a place where we're all kind of figuring out things as we go and watching my team find parts of it that they love to do, whether it's the social media or the events so I guess that's been super fun to feel like, oh, I've been able to provide this opportunity for my students to learn and grow and develop their skills. And they're so excited about it. I mean, they really, I don't want to go to my classes. I want to do this full time. This is so much fun.
That's a living classroom.
Exactly.
Right?
So that's really fun. And then just the field that I'm in, there's no better job. If people are out with their dogs, they're happy. These dog events, the people are just kind and welcoming. And so my market, I guess, my market focus is such a just really cool group of people that's been great as well.
That's cool. That's cool. So if you could give one piece of advice to a woman who wanted to start something, what would you say to her?
I'd say if you already have this idea that just won't go away, it's in your mind. It's you wake up in the middle of the night and your mind goes right to it. That's somebody screaming in your ear. You do this, do it. And just know that it's not going to be easy, but just take baby steps and surround yourself with people who are supportive. There are, it's a very scary thing. You think, oh, I'm just going to make a fool of myself. What am I doing? And surrounding yourself with other people who are taking risks and trying things and, putting themselves out there to make something into a reality that they have, helps a lot, because you'll have those moments where you're like, this is just a crazy idea. But really, every idea at the beginning sounds crazy. When you listening to other stories of other entrepreneurs and the hurdles they've overcome and kept going, that's really helpful. And again, it's just like what you say, when you tap into a group of people like that, you'll meet more and more. So surrounding yourself with other people who are doing similar things and taking risks and failing and getting back up.
Yeah, getting comfortable with failure certainly is important. And as I had mentioned before, it's like entrepreneurship is like the best course in personal development that you could take, right?
For sure.
So last question, what is the best mistake you've ever made? Love to ask people this question.
That remains to be seen. So what I think the next hurdle that I'm going to have to overcome is I tried to do everything the right way. I went through the proper channels and filed for my trademark. I could have not seen this coming, but Pepsi has placed a 90-day hold on my trademark at this point. And so I'd say doing due diligence is important, but putting your trust in somebody that you think is a professional that's going to look out for those ends of your business that maybe you don't really have an interest in. Had I done more due diligence, potentially I could have avoided this. I don't know. But not being more deeply involved in that process, probably it may end up, causing me to eventually have to rebrand. So that one remains.
That's the worst thing, then that's the worst thing, right? It could be worse, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, tell me,
anytime you learn, like anytime you make a mistake, it's a learning opportunity.
Yep, absolutely. Tell the audience where they can find out more about Pupsicool. Now, I know you're just in the Austin area, but I have a feeling it's not going to be long that you're going to be all over the country. So tell us where they can find you and where online they can find you, at least to follow your journey for that day that you do expand out towards the coast.
Yeah, so if you're in the Austin area, we're available at all the Tomlinson stores and 24 locations here. If you want to follow our journey, our website is pupsicool.dog, Pupsicool for now, .dog. And I am working on a shelf-stable version, so hoping it will be available to all y'all out there in Chicago and everywhere else soon.
Yay, awesome. Well, thank you, Julie. Thank you so much for sharing your story. It's short stories like this that, I'm hoping will inspire some people out in the audience that might have that little voice just pecking at an idea, or maybe not an idea, but a drive, and they don't have the idea yet. It will spark some of the juices, get them going. So thank you so much for taking some time. Thank you all for tuning in today. As I mentioned, my name is Patricia Cimino. I am a certified life coach, and this is what I do help people with. I help them with that next chapter. So if you find that you're in a place where you are trying to figure out what that next step is, feel free to shoot me a PM, and we can get on a complimentary clarity call where we just kind of talk about where you're at and where you want to go. Okay, have a great day, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, Patty.
Thank you, Julie.